This morning we will reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapter 89, 60 till 65. These are the concluding verses of the chapter, and there is only one chapter with purport in the BBD edition. That's 62. 62 is on the board. We will chant together. Yeah, 62. I will first read 60 till 61, and then we repeat together 62. There are extensive purports by previous acharyas. I will also read some excerpts, some of these purports. Too long to read them all, but I read them for you before, and I will just point out, I try to get out the nectar or the essence. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottanam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudirayat Nastabesya Bhadrasu Nityam Bhagavato Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistikim Iti Adisto Bhagavata Ta Krishna Parama Paramestina Om Ityana Anamya Bhumanam Adaya Divya Dharakam Nyavartetam Svakandama Samprasristo Chatagatam Vipraya Tatu Putran Yata Rupam Yata Vaya. Translation and purpose by the disciples of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Thus instructed by the Supreme Lord of the topmost planet, Krishna and Arjuna assented by chanting Om, and then they bowed down to Almighty Lord Mahavishnu. Taking the Brahman's sons with them, they returned with great delight to Dwarka by the same path along which they had come. There they presented the Brahman with his lost sons, who were in the same infant bodies in which they had been lost. Chakshun militam yena tasmai shkove namah. Chichitanya manobishtam stapatam yena bhuttaleshvam rupakadamyam dadati svapadantikam. Vandeham shiyo shiyuda padakamanam shirom vaishnavam sham. Shirupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Fitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shivishakam Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jatpate Gopesha Gopkakantarat Kant Namastate Tapta Kansna Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhana Sutadevi Pranamama Haripriye Pankha Kalpto Visha Kripasan Vebisha Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachai Dasantane Srila Prabhupada ki. So Lord Krishna and Arjuna are standing with Prananjali, with folded hands before Mahavishnu. And Mahavishnu instructed them. Says here, thus instructed by the Supreme Lord. Someone remembers the instructions of the previous verse? No? Shall I read it again? It's only 2 verses that the instructions he gave. 2 instructions, long purpose. Lord Mahavishnu said, I brought the Brahman's sons here because I wanted to see the 2 of you, my expansions, who have descended to the earth to save the principles of religion. As soon as you finish killing the demons who burden the earth, quickly come back here to me. So he's here to see them. Then the next verse, these are the instructions. Although all your desires are completely fulfilled, O best of the exalted personalities, for the benefit of the people in general, you should continue to exemplify religious behavior as the sages Nara and Narayan. So Nara and Narayan Rishi, these deities of Krishna and Arjuna, they are I think in the Himalayas near to Badrinath. So they are there. So you should continue to exemplify religious behavior. I read a comment on this by Sanatana Goswami. Since you 2 are a wealth of all sweetness, desiring to see you, I brought the sons of the Brahman here. To be able to see you always, you should come here again quickly. And you should come here often. So he wanted to see them. If we come here, Dharma will not be protected. Your expansions have appeared on earth. Kala Vatirna. You should remain on earth in those forms to protect my Dharma. So it's Mahavishnu is very eager to see Krishna. So therefore, he stole the sons of this Brahman to oblige Krishna to come to see him. It's very interesting because why should Mahavishnu do that? Krishna was in Dwarka. So this, I think, nine sons of this Brahman, Mahavishnu took them away one after another. Every time there's 1 year between. So Mahavishnu comes to Dwarka to take these children. But Krishna is in Dwarka. He could come to see Krishna. So that's interesting. Why is he so eager to see Krishna? We will find out. So the verse of today, thus instructed by the Supreme Lord of the topmost planet, Krishna and Arjuna ascended by chanting Om, and they bow down to the Almighty Lord Mahavishnu. Taking the Brahman sons with them, they returned with great delight to Dwarka by the same path along. So that's interesting that they are going back to Dwarka. But before Mahavishnu, Krishna bows down. I'm your servant. He did a similar thing when he established the worship of Govardhan. He expanded himself as Govardhan, a second form of top of Govardhan. And all the Vrajavasis were bowing down for Govardhan, and also Krishna was bowing down. But here we see the same thing. That Jiva Goswami said, being ordered in this way with the intention of performing a special pastime like Govardhan, where Krishna was obedient to Govardhan, the two returned to Dwarka. They had to celebrate Govardhan Puja, Jiva Goswami said. Jiva Goswami said, Nityam Sanitas Tatra Bhagavan Madhusudana. Krishna is eternally present in Dwarka. So Krishna is eternally there. They were pleased because Arjuna's desire was fulfilled, getting the sons back. And Krishna's desire was achieved, saving Arjuna. So they returned as they had come, by going to the Brahmajyoti, etc., and the covering of the universe. We discussed that before. The sons were with the same appearance as when their father had last seen them. This was suitable, since Krishna was able to do the impossible, as was Arjuna. So they take their children with them, and just the same age as they just were born, babies. Of course, the oldest should already have been nine years old, but no, it was in the baby form as they saw them. That's interesting. Sanatana Goswami said, instructed by Vishnu, they did as he said, since they respected his words, since he was the Lord who showed unlimited powers, manifesting a great form with 8 arms, Bhagavata, and as the greatest, Parameshtina. They are called two Krishnas, Krishna, since they were always firm in friendship. They took the children, and being pleased in all ways, they returned to their svakam, their abode, or the abode from which the two derived happiness. How? They returned by the same path they came to Vishnu. They gave the children to their parents in their baby forms so that the parents would recognize them. How could the children have the same form now, after having died long ago? They too were fully capable of doing this. Arjuna was also cause of this. It is said. Now text 62. 62 is in the bottom. Now we can repeat. Nisamya Vaishnavam Dhamma Bhakta Parama Vishmitaha Yat Kinchit Parusam Pumsam Mene Krishnanukampitam Nisamya Vaishnavam Dhamma Bhakta Parama Vishmitaha Yat Kinchit Parusam Pumsam Mene Krishnanukampitam Nisamya Vaishnavam Dhamma Bhakta Parama Vishmita Yat Kinchit Parusham Pumsam Mene Krishnanukampitam Nisamya Vaishnavam Dhamma Bhakta Parama Vishmita Yat Kinchit Parusham Pumsam Mene Krishnanukampitam Nisamya Vaishnavam Dhamma Bhakta Parama Vishmitaha Yat Kinchit Parusham Pumsam Mene Krishnanukampitam Nisamya Vaishnavam Dhamma Bhakta Parama Vishmita Yat Kinchit Parusham Pumsam Mene Krishnanukampitam Nisamya Vaishnavam Dhamma Bhakta Parama Vishmita Yat Kinchit Parusham Pumsam Mene Krishnanukampitam. Word for word translation. Nisamya, having seen Vaishnavam of Lord Vishnu, Dhamma, the abode, Bhakta, Arjuna, Parama, supremely, Vishmita, astonished, Yat Kinchit, whatever, Pausam, special power, Pumsam, belonging to living beings, Mene, he concluded, Krishna, of Krishna, Anukampitam, the mercy shown. Translation. Having seen the domain of Lord Vishnu, Arjuna was totally amazed. He concluded that whatever extraordinary power a person exhibits can only be a manifestation of Krishna's mercy. So, we have the purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti describes Arjuna's amazement. He thought, just see, even though I'm a mere mortal, by Krishna's mercy, I've seen the Supreme Godhead, the root cause of everything. Then after a moment, he thought again, But why did Lord Vishnu say that he took away the Brahman's children out of a desire to see Krishna? Why would the Supreme Personality of Godhead hanker to see his own expansion? This might be the effect of some peculiar temporary circumstance. But since he said Didrikshuna instead of Predrikshata, where the specific suffix suna carries the sense of a permanent characteristic, not a temporary one. It has to be concluded that he has always been wanting to see Krishna and myself. Even granted that this is so, why couldn't he simply see Krishna Dvarka? After all, Lord Mahavishnu is the all-pervading creator of the universe, which he holds like an amalaka fruit in his hands. Is it that he could not see Krishna in Dvarka because Krishna does not allow anyone to see him without special sanction? That's an important point. I repeat it again, because that's the reason Krishna is supreme. That is it that he could not see Krishna in Dvarka because Krishna does not allow anyone to see him without special sanction? And why also would Lord Mahavishnu, the compassionate master of all Brahmanas, have repeatedly tormented an elevated Brahman year after year? Looks like Vaishnava, right? That offending a Brahman is a very serious thing. He must have acted in this unusual way only because he could not give up his eagerness to see Krishna. All right, he may have acted improperly for that reason. But why couldn't he have sent a servant to kidnap the Brahman's sons? Why did he himself have to come to Dvarka? Was stealing them out of Lord Krishna's capital so difficult that no one but Vishnu himself could hope to accomplish it? I can understand that he intended to cause so much distress to a Brahman of Lord Krishna's city that Krishna would be unable to tolerate it. Then he would grant Lord Vishnu his audience. Lord Vishnu inspired the distressed Brahman to pour out his complaints to Krishna in person. That is clear. Thus, it is clear that Sri Krishna's status of Godhood is superior to Lord Mahavishnu. Having thought in this way, Arjuna was totally amazed. He asked Lord Krishna whether these were actually the facts of the matter, and the Lord replied as related in Hari Vamsa. Maddarsanartam te bala itastene mahatmana viprachtam asya te Krishna mat samipam na sanyata. It was to see me that he, the Supreme Soul, stole the children. He believed only a Brahman, on a Brahman's behalf will Krishna come to see me, not otherwise. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that Lord Krishna further told Arjuna, I do not go there. However, for the Brahman's sake, I went there. I went there, my friend, to save your life, the life of Arjuna. If it had not been for the Brahman's sake that I traveled to Vaikuntha, I would have done so after his first child was abducted. So, Krishna said, I did it for Arjuna. Because Arjuna failed to protect the children of this Brahmin, he was going to enter fire. Interesting, this pastime happened before the battle of Kurukshetra in Dwarka. Bhagavad Gita was not yet spoken. It's told here at the end of the Bhagavatam, but it happened before, when they just came out of exile. Because when Arjuna and the Pandavas were in exile, then when they were in exile, Arjuna was worshipping at a fight with Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva was pleased with his fight and gave him so many weapons and benedictions that, because he mentions that here also in this chapter, Arjuna. And that was the reason why he was worshipping Lord Shiva, to get powers. But Krishna was there anyway. Yeah, and so that Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata, and many stories in the Bhagavatam we find in the Mahabharata. So we know the reason why the Pandavas went in exile was because Yudhishthira lost the gambling match. And a few other things, they tried to disrupt Draupadi and so on. They were exiled for 14 years. Then they were in the forest. And in the forest, Arjuna went at a certain time to do some meditation in the Himalayas. He was meditating, and suddenly saw a deer coming up, a boar. I don't remember the animal, but he took his bow and he was shooting it, and the arrow went into the animal, but a second arrow also entered into the animal, into the deer or the boar. And then a fierce-looking hunter was there, and Arjuna said, "I killed the boar or the animal." And the hunter said, "No, I did." And they got in an argument, and they got in a fight. But it was a fierce fight because Arjuna could not win. He could not win. He was fighting very valiantly, so he could not win. And but then at a certain moment, the hunter revealed himself as Lord Shiva and said to Arjuna, "I'm pleased with your fighting." And therefore he gave him certain weapons, celestial weapons, so he pleased Lord Shiva with fighting. That was the point. And therefore he was worshipping Lord Shiva, because Shishirada Gopinath, Charana Baldev Subhadra, because he got great powers of Lord Shiva. But of course he was worshipping Lord Shiva and Krishna was there. So that was not appropriate. So you can worship demigods to get power, and Krishna is there. No, therefore, devotees worship Krishna, who is the source of all the demigods and the controller of all the demigods. So Krishna wants to show if you worship demigods, you can never win, never be successful at the end. It's all material. The real success is spiritual success. It's not possible. So therefore, Arjuna failed in protecting. But of course, there was a higher purpose here because it was Mahavishnu. He could not succeed. It was all a plan of Mahavishnu to get Krishna and Arjuna to come to see him. So, according to Sridhar Swami, although this pastime occurred before the Battle of Kurukshetra, it is recounted here at the end of the 10th canto under the general heading of Supremacy of Lord Krishna's glories. Now, there are many commentaries, and I will read. I highlighted some points. We cannot read them all. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Arjuna was extremely astonished, first seeing the extraordinary grandeur of Mahavishnu. He said, although I'm a mortal son of Pandu, by the mercy of Krishna, I've seen this Supreme Lord, the cause of everything. By that he was simply astonished. We cannot, not even this shell of this earth. So it's a special mercy of Krishna that he could travel with him to see Mahavishnu. Then considering a moment, he thought, why did he say, I wanted to see you too? Mahavishnu told, I want to see you too. And so these are Arjuna's thoughts. How is it possible that the Supreme Lord of everything would want to see his own expansion, Krishna? But why does he not see Krishna in Dwarka, from where he is situated here? Since he has great power, and this universe he has created is just like an Amalaki fruit in his hands. Well, maybe he doesn't have that power, but still he comes to Dwarka every year to steal the children of the Brahman. Why does he not at that time see Krishna, who is visible even to the oil man and betel nut peddler living here in Dwarka? It is said that without the desire of Krishna, no one can see him. Yeah, I skip a few comments. And then Arjuna then thought, I will ask Krishna and understand the truth about this. So he asked by Arjuna, then Krishna spoke. This is in the Harivamsa. In the Harivamsa, we find many details of this pastime. So in order to see me, Vishnu stole the Brahman's son. He thought Krishna will not come to me except on behalf of the Brahman. But Krishna said, I did not go to Vishnu for the sake of the Brahman. I did not. I went in order to save the life of your life, my friend, he said to Arjuna. If I were to go for the sake of the Brahman, I would have gone just after the first child was stolen, not after the 9. The reason I went after the 9th child was stolen was not from obligation to Vishnu, but out of obligation to you, Arjuna. Hearing this truth from Krishna's mouth, Arjuna considered that whatever powers are, some within man and within everyone, even up to the Lord of the spiritual world, the powers of everyone were generated from the mercy of Krishna. Krishna Anukampana. Only the mercy of Krishna. One should know that from the prayers of the personified Vedas till this point in the 10th canto, the supreme position of Krishna as Asraya Tattva, the 10th subject of the Puranas, has been described. Of course, we read these commentaries, but we are in the 10th canto. We should have absorbed and and realize the first 9 cantos. Because I think it's 2:10:1 in the Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 10th chapter, verse 1. The 10 subjects are described that are discussed in the Bhagavatam. And the final, the 10th subject is the Asraya, that ultimate shelter, and that's Krishna. And that's what Sridhar Swami is mentioning here. So it took place before Kurukshetra, but it is stated here on the occasion of discussing the topmost truth. Yeah. So Jiva Goswami says, so the whole thing is Arjuna understands one thing. Krishna stu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the source of everything, also of Mahavishnu. So Jiva Goswami points out that in the Bhagavatam, you have the Paribhasa Sutra. The Paribhasa Sutra is a main verse in the Bhagavatam. It's the king of the verses. And everything must be seen through that verse. Through that verse. Just a moment. That here. Yeah. So, and that Paribhasa Sutra verse, that main verse, is 1.3.28 of the Bhagavatam. Ete shamsa kala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Svayam Indrari vyakulam lokam vritayanti yuge yuge. So the translation of this verse is, and above all the above mentioned incarnations, because this is the 3rd chapter of the 1st canto. And in that chapter, all the incarnations of Krishna, beginning with the Purusha avatars, they are all mentioned. Nrsimhadev and Varadev, Vamadev, they are all mentioned. And so after they have been mentioned, Sutta Goswami says, and above all these mentioned incarnations, or all of them, they are plenary portions or portions of the Supreme Lord, or portions of the Supreme Lord Krishna, who is the original personality of Godhead. So Krishna is a fountainhead from all other incarnations. That's explained in the Bhagavatam. From Krishna, his first expansion is Balaram. Balaram comes Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. So you have four Vaikuntha expansions, they call it. These are Vaikuntha expansions. And in the Vaikuntha planets, you have every planet has its deity. And so there are millions of planets and Narayan expansions, Vishnu expansions. But then from the Shatravyuha, from Sankarshan comes Mahavishnu, and that's the Mahavishnu they have visited. So they are all plenary portions and portions of the Lord. So it's called Eti Shamsa, Kalapamsa, Eti Shamsa, Amsa. They are Amsa. They are parts of the Lord. All these incarnations are like of the same power. That like you have a candle With one candle, you lit another candle, and another candle, but they are all the same power. But still, Krishna has a few characteristics, 4 characteristics, which are unique, that they are described as is the most beautiful. He has pastime with his devotees, and especially this conjugal Madhurya Ras is very specific. Venu Madhurya, he plays the flute. Samya Madhurya is the most beautiful. Anyway, otherwise, they have the same powers. Or they have a power according to their mission. That Sakyaves, avatars, but otherwise they have all same power. They are amsas, parts. The living entities are also parts of Krishna. They are called vibhinamsa. Vibhinamsa. They are of the same quality, but their powers are very minute. They are spiritual atoms, very minute. But we are also amsas, but vibhinamsa. So all of them appear on planets where there is disturbance created by the atheist. The Lord incarnates to protect his atheist. So Krishna is the source of all this Vishnu expansions and so on. And this verse, this is what, if we go back to Jiva Goswami, it says, Krishna still Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the fountainhead, is the source of all these incarnations. And every other verse of the Bhagavatam should be seen to that understanding. That's important. Like in Bhagavad Gita, we have also this Paribhasa Sutras. We have the Chatur Sloka Bhagavad Gita, starting with Am Sarvasya Pavo Mata Sharvam Pavartate Matvrabhachatvam Buddhabhav Samambita. I'm the source of all material worlds, and the sages who know this have developed love for me. I'm the source of material and spiritual worlds. Then the next verse says, Machita Machita Prana Bodhayan Sparsham Kautyan Smamyam Tishanti Sharmantisha. And my devotees, they are relishing speaking about me. And they are living in great bliss. And then how to get that bliss is the next verse. Tesham Satayuktam Bacham Pridevukam Tadami Buddhyotam Yenam Opayantine. Then Krishna, he gives us that bliss when we're serving with a little love. In the 4th verse, Krishna says how he does that. Tesham Avana Kampatama Mahyana Chamtama Nasachamatma Babasthikanati Pena Bashvata. With the lamp of knowledge, he removes the ignorance in our heart and we become blissful. But these 4 verses, it contains who Krishna is, what the relationship with his devotees is, how to develop that relationship. Everyone is in 4 verses. And all the other verses of the Bhagavatam must be seen through these 4 verses, our acharyas say. That's the same principle. So that's the Paribhasa Sutra. That sutra means that which the meaning to that by which the meaning to be explained is shown in brief. It's very short. And Paribhasa means a rule or theme that can be applied where not explicitly stated. So all other verses must be seen to that verse. Thus the term Swayam Bhagavan must be used to determine the meaning of every sutra. of every verse in the Bhagavatam. That the excellence of Vishnu thus culminates in Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. Sanatana Goswami concludes, he concluded that whatever ability one has to achieve one's goal was accomplished by the mercy of Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. Now text 63, there are still a few verses. Iti drishani anekani vyayani ha padakshayan ubuje vishayan kamyan Ichi sat uchiter makai. Lord Krishna exhibited many other similar heroic pastimes in this world. He apparently enjoyed the pleasures of ordinary human being, and he performed greatly potent fire sacrifices. Shiva Goswami. Remembering many other feats of Krishna, Sukadev speaks with tears and choked verse. Shiva Goswami sees that because this Bhagavatam is spoken by Sukadev Goswami to Maharaj Pariksit, and he is explaining the ecstasy that Sukadev Goswami is feeling by speaking these verses. Remembering many other feats of Krishna, Sukadev speaks with tears and choked voice. Though he wanted to describe them all, he summarizes everything in 3 verses. In sorrow, because of the restrictions of Parikshit's life within his voluntary fasting. So he was aware, I'm speaking to Maharaj Parikshit, is fasting already for 6 days now. 6 days now, and soon he have to leave his body. So he wanted to tell much more about Krishna's pastimes, but he's summarizing it because of that Shiva Goswami. Text 64. Prava varsa kilan kaman payaso brahmanadisho yata kalam yatai vendo bhagavan shaistyam ashita. The Lord, having demonstrated his supremacy at suitable times, he showered down all desirable things upon the Brahmins and his other subjects, just as Indra pours down rain. 65. Atvanipammadamistam gatayit varunadibihi anyasa vartyamasa dharmam dharmasutadibihi. Now that he had killed many wicked kings and engaged devotees such as Arjuna in killing others, the Lord could easily assure the execution of religious principles through the agency of such pious rulers as Yudhishthira. Jiva Goswami says, having directly killed and engaged Arjuna and others in killing, he established Dharma up to Bhakti. Remembering how Krishna made everyone happy, Sukadev wept for a moment. This incident took place after the Pandavas came out of hiding. So they were in exile for 14 years. They came out of exile. They came out of hiding since Arjuna mentions that he had satisfied Shiva. After this event, there were a long gap till the time when Abhimanyu was married and Parikshit was conceived. During that time, it was possible for Arjuna to go to Dwarka. Sanatana Goswami says, the goal of Krishna appearing was just this, to give happiness to all people. Krishna consciousness, the only real happiness. All the rest is temporary. And he re-established the principles of religion. First, by re-establishing Varnashram Dharma, which upholds the primary characteristics of religion, the lower principles of religion, which is a mercy, that tolerance or tapasya, austerity, mercy, austerity, truthfulness, cleanliness. So Krishna established these lower principles of religion. Lower principles of religion means we break them when we break the four relative principles. If you follow the four relative principles, you follow the lower principles of religion. And by Varnashram, everyone comes to goodness, but Krishna came to give us the higher principles of religion. Bhakti, how to go back to God. And that's the ultimate happiness to all people. Thus ends the purpose of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the 10th canto, 89th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Krishna and Arjuna retrieve Abraham's son. Any comments or questions, please? Good, no questions, then we will stop here. Thank you very much. Shantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.